very warm welcome to you. I'm Hayley Palmer. It's so good to have you here with me on tonight's show because we are at the beautiful Mondrian Hotel in Shoreditch and we are joined by the complete legend, Nick Heyward, on the show. And here is what happened when I caught up with him. Nick, it's great to have you here.
Lovely to see you, Hayley.
How are you doing?
Good.
It's lovely here. We are at the Mondrian Shoreditch, and it's a beautiful hotel. It's like a cool place to be. I feel like I'm not cool enough to be here.
Nor am I. So here we are.
Here we are. What's been going on your end?
Well, actually, lots with the Haircut 100 doing a gig next year, which is really exciting. Probably that's why I didn't sleep last night, because...
I love that you were like, I didn't sleep last night, just to let you know.
Yeah, I mean, like 3 hours. But I was just really, really wide awake and kind of just thinking about stuff in a good way, you know. It's wonderful. We set up a WhatsApp.
Oh,
you know, this
like a WhatsApp group?
Yeah, and so the band are like chatting and sharing stuff.
At 3 in the morning?
Yeah.
WhatsApp. Well, what are you going to talk about? Heal the Broken Lamb, which is a charity single. Now, the following people are involved. Am I right in saying Carol Decker's involved?
Yep, who lives locally to me.
Does she? She's
yeah,
your neighbour?
I'm always seeing her in Boots when we go to get nose strips and, you know,
Got to have your Advantage card. Love that. The Christians, Clive Jackson, legend, Nathan Moore, Mark Shaw and The Adventure. So you've all come together. Talk us how this happened.
Well, it was Sharon Alston and Forever Young who really cares about the effects of what's happening in the war in Ukraine on mostly animals, because she's a vet. Oh. So that's what ignited myself and my wife Sarah, because we're both into animal welfare and things. So it was just that and the children affected, because, you know, it's always the adults that are letting down the children in this stuff. I mean, some guy flexing his muscles and firing off rockets around the place, you know, might look good. You might think it looks absolutely fantastic to himself, you know, like this big firework display. But, you know, the reality is that, you know, the kids suffer again. It's always the children that suffer in these things. So.
Did you all come together in the studio, or how did that come about?
No, that was sent the modern day, kind of similar to WhatsApp.
I'm so old-fashioned.
Yeah, it was videos.
I've got to get with it, haven't I?
Videos on the phone.
Love
so everybody
that.
just videoed themselves, as everybody does nowadays, and just sends it off. And
brilliant.
It was a lot easier than what it would have been, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to go to all pile into a studio somewhere.
And you've got to be here at this day, this time. That can't happen these days. We're all so busy.
No.
But I love that. So how can we get hold of the single?
YouTube.
Okay, just
there we are, another fantastic platform.
Yes, so we're going to put details on the screen below. That'll be easier. We are now going to have a little look at the video. So check this out, and I'll be catching up with Nick after this.
just wanted to say how very excited I am about our little haircut gig, our wonderful haircut gig that's coming up next year, May the 12th, Shepherd's Bush Empire, to celebrate 40 years of PelicanWest. Can you believe it? And I also wanted to say that I cannot wait to get on stage with my three best mates doing what we do. So Blair, we're going to hit it and quit it. Jonesy, if you're watching, don't forget to bring the bring. It's going to be a great evening. And if you're thinking about coming along, well, I'd get my skates on if I were you, because from what I'm seeing on social media, it's looking very, very popular. What else? I love you, dudes. I love you. I can't wait to get together with you.
So I want to rewind back to how everything started with you, Nick, because you studied art and photography and then left school at 16 to work as a commercial artist.
Yeah.
So let's rewind back to then.
Sweet times.
Good times.
Yeah, punk was happening. So it was fortuitous to be in London when it was all kicking off. So I was going to see all the bands I loved at the time, like The Jam and XTC and Talking Heads. And I probably wouldn't have been able to get to see them otherwise, so I was going to see them in the evening and then just walking around London taking parcels and training to be a commercial artist. And my dream was to get on the board and just design record sleeves and things. That's what was my main goal in life, was to design record sleeves. And then when I was designing record sleeves, I thought I need the music to go with this. So that's when I started to start bands up in Beckenham, in my area.
But did you know you could sing? Because I know I can't sing. Like, did you must have known you had a musical talent.
We've all got to start somewhere with
this
it.
This is true.
You don't really does anybody have a talent for anything really? I mean, you know, Mozart had to start somewhere. I mean, maybe he didn't or he didn't, but had his father not been a piano player, would he have picked up the piano? Maybe not. True. You know, but it is practice. So that's what I did, and that's how Fantastic Day came about, by practice. I locked myself in my bedroom, practice amp, headphones and guitar, and I thought, okay, I'm going to learn to play and sing at the same time, because my heroes, Andy Partridge and David Byrne, did this. They had a guitar and they just played stuff. It just looked like they were just kind of flying around the fretboard, and at the same time they were singing these very odd lyrics. So that was my inspiration. I thought, that's what I want to do. And then I went to see XTC at the Croydon Greyhound, and they do this neon shuffle, this song, and they all stop together, and it's just blah, when the music stops, and they all stopped, and it was just, everything slowed down at that moment, and I was kind of this kid, you know, 16, kind of going, what? It stopped, everything stopped, and then they all came in at the same time. I don't know how they did it. Then, I didn't know how they do it now. I mean, I know how they do it now. But then, that was the most impressive thing to me. And I thought, wow, oh, wow, that is what I would like to do.
Wow, so you just knew.
Yeah.
Vision.
That's it. I want to do that. And then then it's a process of just doing it.
Exactly.
And that's just down to other stuff. But I was walking around London just dreaming of it. And I remember walking down Conduit Street one day.
Oh, yeah.
And I turned to my left, and there was Andy Partridge, and then I turned to my right, and there was Barry Andrews, and the whole of XTC were just walking down the street with me. So I felt like, I'm in the band. I'm in the band. And I smiled at them, and they obviously thought, you know, young chap, knows the band, obviously, and they were kind of going, hi. And that was really inspiring, to just be, you know, swept along down a London street with your heroes for just a one day.
Because you were quite young, weren't you? So what was that like? Was it quite overwhelming, or do you think you coped with it quite well?
Well, it was very quick. You know, I was impatient. I thought, well, couldn't get gigs, so I'll go into the New Musical Express and ask to be interviewed. Bold, but...
Like it.
I was living... It was in Carnaby Street. I worked in Great Marlborough Street, so I just popped around the corner during my lunchtime and asked. And Adrian Thrills came to see us at our flat. We all lived, Les Graham and I lived in a flower shop in Gloucester Road.
Did you get free flowers?
No, they were quite stingy actually with their flowers. Yeah,
No
that would have been
thanks,
nice, wouldn't it? Three guys, young guys living together with flowers. We did have a little mouth, a smiling mouth, on the front door, the doorbell. You know, so and it just said haircut 100 on the doorbell.
Good memories. And how much do you think things have changed these days? I mean, do you look back and go, do you know what? They were like really good times, because people are so fascinated by the 80s, aren't they? You can tell by the concerts and, you know, the gigs where everyone comes together. People are still really obsessed by it, aren't they?
Yeah, and this was actually really close to the 70s. So we're just out of the 70s. This was about 1980 that we're all living together, and then by 81. It took off at the end of 81 at Christmas, around Christmas time. Favourite shirts just kind of went whoosh. I mean, everybody was just kind of like perched in London, ready to pounce on something, some idea. And there was always some kind of cultural wave coming along. And you could sense it in the air, because Spandau Ballet had done chant number 1, and they got Beggars & Co. involved, and the brass, and that was a real inspiration to lots of people in London, because we felt like, funk is getting involved in music now, because New Wave was starting to turn into New Romantic and starting to blend in and go offshoots.
Did you think you'd have that much success, or were you just kind of like, we just go with the flow, or did you know? Did you have a vision for that?
We did believe, because we were living and breathing being a band. You know, we were literally living together, being a band. We all did similar jobs. We're all in sort of art and photography. We got up every morning to the Flying Eye. We'd put on Associates, Logan Time, and Odyssey, back to my roots, and we'd sort of be dancing around, literally dancing around the kitchen or getting ready for
throwing
work.
some shapes around the kitchen.
And then we'd
it.
socialise together. We'd go to Ken Market together to get fashion.
Right.
And we'd all dress the same.
Really?
And we were the same. And so everywhere we went, it was like, they're those Haircut 100 guys. So then we went to see Steve Daggers, who is Spandau Ballet's manager, as the band, in Carnaby Street. It's like, we're here. And I've met people since, and they said, I bumped into you, and you were just really, really enthusiastic about your band. And I can't remember that.
Really?
No, I don't remember being that enthusiastic, but we were obviously really, really driven.
Yeah, you lived and breathed it, and you're right, you were driven, and that's why it worked.
Yeah.
Love that.
Ambition is for the young,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to go into a fantastic day. What are your memories of this song?
This was learning to play and sing at the same time. So this is in the bedroom in the maybe like 77 or something. And I thought, okay, I was just singing something to sort of like, so that I could go fantastic day, and it was really punky. So, there's a great amount of strain about getting on that train every day and every night. And that turned into...
Any more?
I was just singing, yeah.
I'll wind him up.
And that turned into this song called Fantastic Day, and then that it lay dormant for a while, that song, because through the ska times and mod revival that was happening, it was a bit like, okay. And then it came back when we were just about to be signed, and Les said, what about that song? Because we had Arista were there, and they were kind of wanted to sign us, but it wasn't until we played that song that they went, get the pen. That was it, at the moment, because we were joking about it afterwards, because get the pen became a kind of slogan in the band. Les would say, get the pen.
Wow, turn this one up loud, and I'll be catching up with Nick after this. Now I want to talk about the new remastered PelicanWest. So this was Haircut 100's classic debut album, and now being reissued as a special edition. I got that right?
Yes, it is. It's been 40 years. But it's so lovely to see everyone celebrating that album, that period. It was very sweet. In hindsight, it was really sweet. I know there was stuff going on, but it feels very naive now to just dwell on that period.
Oh, is there a favourite song on there? Do you have like a secret favourite song that you like?
They're like children, though. You can't have favourites, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah, because I've done that throughout the time, and it didn't work well. It didn't work well at all to have a favourite.
And what do you think the fans would say? Is there one that they just go, yeah, we love that one?
No, I think it's quite eclectic. You know, some people say they like the song Baked Beans, which is called Baked Beans. On the album it was called Baked Bean.
Oh.
So 40 years it's taken to change
Okay.
Just adjust that to
Just to
plural.
clarify.
It's Baked Beans.
Right.
But on the sleeve now, I mean, that was the most pleasing thing about the release for personally, being a commercial artist, having that typo and living with it for all that time. And then suddenly, here it is.
That would destroy my head, yeah.
But we had to get a letter from Sony to change it.
What?
Yeah, they had to, because it was Baked Bean, which, that was hell on earth for me, because I felt like Baked Beans is pop art.
Yes.
Baked Beans, it's Pete Townsend in a bath with baked beans all over him. That's what it was. Baked bean? Baked bean?
Yeah, that's...
Singular?
That's
what?
not okay.
No.
That's not okay on any level, but it's all rectified now. It's all good.
Yeah.
Just to confirm.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to go into Love Plus One. Is this a favourite of yours?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Not the golden child.
See what I did there? Check this out. Now, moving forward, there's a special gig happening, Shepherd's Bush Empire, May the 12th. Talk us through this.
Well, it looks like it's happening. I mean, that was another thing, really typically Haircut 100 style. I was just chatting to somebody during the summer, and from Kilimanjaro, and said, wouldn't it be lovely to, do a gig? No idea about whether it would actually happen or not. Anyway, it just started to happen, and I thought, God, I don't even know if we're all going to be there, But so called a band meeting, and it was kind of 4 of us were there, so
Wow.
it's going to be 4 of us there.
It's happening.
Yeah,
It's
so
actually happening.
The gig is happening.
I love that. I bet the fans are so excited for this.
It's looking good, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looking really good, really good.
Yes, well, we're going to put details on the screen below of how you can get your tickets for that gig. Then we're going to go into Kite, which was your solo single. What was it like when you kind of went from a group to a solo artist? Was that quite a transition?
Yeah, it is, because you're used to everything being coloured in by your mates in the band.
Yeah.
And then you get to get new colourists to colour in your songs. So, but I did find some fantastic colourists. And nowadays, you can just, because of technology is on all our sides,
It is.
you can colour it in at home on your laptop on Logic. It's fantastic. I mean, I've just got a studio and office together for the first time.
Oh.
Never too late. I mean, 40 years later, I've just finally got an office. Now, it's one of those things where you just think, how did I live without an office and a studio?
Gee, yeah.
Because I'm sitting there and learnt Logic during COVID, I mean, I'd used other forms of recording before, but you always needed other people. But now you can just sit there and kind of, as a songwriter, I can write my song and then colour it in.
And how do you go about writing your songs? Do you have to be in the right zone, or does it just happen naturally?
Well, that's interesting, actually, because, for example, I've got this song called Frozen World. And initially I thought, what on earth am I writing this song? What is this song about? I thought, this is such a depressing lyric. It's about somebody frozen and it's an urban landscape, and it's so grim and gritty. I don't write grim and gritty songs, but I thought, oh, okay, stick with this, Nick. And it was about this lonely guy and this calm sea of trees lyric. And this is the whole point of being creative. It's happening, and you're just allowing it to happen. So you can't stand in its way. And I think it was inspired by waking up one morning, going straight onto YouTube and watching the news, and there was a guy climbing into a wheelie bin for the night in London, a homeless guy. And it was really, really upsetting. And so, he was ex-army, he'd served for this country.
God.
And here he was, and he had that spirit of, it's okay, that kind of really army spirit, like, well, there's worse places to sleep for the night kind of thing. And I don't know why, but it just really, really got me. Now, I didn't sit down and write a song about it, but months later, when you're writing and suddenly you find yourself doing this disturbing, upsetting lyric, that's when it starts to, that's the influence coming out there of something that you've seen that then you're writing about, because you can't write about it when you're upset at the time.
Oh, right, it's too much.
It's too much. You know, you can't say, I'm really upset, I'm really depressed by this, I will go and write a song about it. You know, you can't do that. It's pretty impossible to be depressed and write a song.
Okay.
So,
because I thought when I've been upset before, maybe this is the time. Not that I've ever written a song, Nick, but...
Well, sometimes it's good to express yourself, I suppose, emotionally, you know, but if you're crying...
I've got a diary now. I've got a little journal that I write every day. Yeah.
That's good.
That's very helpful, actually.
Yeah. Better out than in.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we're going to go into Kite, and I will be catching up with Nick after this.
Hi Hayley, it's Graham here, guitarist and Haircut 100. I hear you've got Nick in the studio with you, talking about our days in the 80s. Maybe he can tell you about the time we first met Blair in the studio when he was laying down the tracks for our 8-track demo, Love Plus One, Calling Captain Autumn, Milk Film. But he made such a great difference and made it sound a lot weightier and a lot heavier. Wonderful times. In any case, there's plenty more stories like that coming from Nick. But anyway, it's coming up for Christmas. Happy Christmas to everybody. And hopefully we'll see you next year at the Shepherd's Bush Empire, the O2 Shepherd's Bush Empire, on May the 12th, when we'll be performing PelicanWest.
We have some questions from some of our lovely viewers. So Jill wants to know, which band or artist would you like to collab with? Good question.
Yeah, Johnny Marr. I've bumped into him a few times and we seem to be kindred spirits as well. We've got this love of this song by Hamilton Bahaman called Disco Stomp, and it had the same effect on me when I was a kid. And I saw that I read that he liked that song. I've heard him speak on YouTubes about it, and I thought, God, that song resonated with me too. So, and I bumped into him in supermarkets and clothes shops.
And Tesco's.
And he asked me to be in electronic once, this band. And I was too nervous to call him back. Because I really liked the Smiths as well, and I loved his guitar playing. So Elton John would be brilliant because I love his enthusiasm for life.
Yes, that's what we need to make happen.
He's just a powerhouse of enthusiasm, isn't he?
I went to see him at Hyde Park perform in the summer, and he's just incredible.
Yeah.
It really is.
I love how he's been warts and all, everything out there.
Yeah.
And the film just blew my head off. It's so emotional. I was crying when, you know, Your Song, when they were writing that, you know.
Yeah.
Just the connection between Bernie Taupin and him. Wow, fantastic. Yeah, really brilliant
If
film.
Alton's listening, watching, that's the one. We need to make that happen.
And Mozart.
Yes. Yes. There you go. Good answers. Mark says, where's your favourite gig location? Again, it's like choosing your favourite child, isn't it? But is there somewhere that you just think, yes?
Do you know, I fall in love with Pizza Express.
Oh, I love Pizza Express.
Yeah.
They do great pizzas, first of all.
That's it. You've got
and
great...
do you know what's really nice? It's really intimate. Because sometimes when it's too big, it loses you a little bit, doesn't it? When you're there, you kind of like feel part of it, like I do, as like sitting there watching it. I think it's nice.
Yeah. It's what's better than a pizza?
Nothing.
Stone pizza,
Oh,
sourdough pizza, and music. And I think it was because I was brought up with jazz parents.
I was brought up with pizza.
Well, you know, it was they were more rice. They were more rice. They loved this thing called a hash, where they threw everything in at the end of the week that had been in the fridge, and they just called it.
Like, eat that.
It's just, and I loved it.
You can't go out to play. Oh, you
was,
liked it?
Oh, I loved
that's
it.
good.
Yeah, it was really, really
Just
good.
to confirm.
Yeah.
I always get onto food in my interviews. It's my favourite subject.
Well,
but anyway,
it's
I'm getting quite hungry now.
the
Talking
spice of
away.
life.
Absolutely. Elise says, what's the most surprising thing that has ever happened on stage, backstage? We're just trying to get the gossip out of you.
Surprising thing. Oh, well, I got a Kiora orange thrown at me. That was a bit of a surprise, yeah. And it was...
What, when you're on stage?
Yeah, and I think it's that thing where... Because I've done this. I've gone to throw something in kind of, like, have this. And then you suddenly go, what am I doing? That's going to Oh.
Hang on, it's the Key Orange, the drink, you mean?
Yeah.
What, with the straw?
Yeah,
That's
with the
quite
straw.
dangerous. That's brutal.
It is, because it hit from quite far
No, I'm
back.
not laughing. It's just that, that someone would do that. It's outrageous. Naughty person, if they're watching.
Well, I did meet them afterwards, and
did
they were
you?
mortified. I'm so sorry. It's really crying and stuff like that.
they?
Yeah.
Oh.
But the thing is, I remember the shirt, and it was soaked with this Key Orange, and I don't know if you've ever spilt Key Orange over you.
More like wine.
Oh, okay. Well, wine doesn't smell like vomit, but Key Orange does after a while.
Does it?
Yes. So I was singing and kind of going, I smell like vomit. Why? I didn't connect the two at all. There's so.
What a memory.
Well, I went off for a change, and that got a bit of a cheer. So I then started to think, wow, I've seen this with people. You know, they go off stage and they change into some different
Quite
clothing.
rock star behaviour,
It's
actually.
rock star.
Yeah.
That's really, really good. So I might get that in the set.
Do you know what? Like, out of everyone I've asked that question to, that's actually my favourite one because I've never heard anything like that before. That's a great story we've had here on the show. So thank you for that, Kiara. Stay away from the Kiara Orange drink. Well, we're going to go into Blue Hat for a Day. This is your solo single back in 1983.
Yeah, bless it.
Bless it. Should we check it out? Here we go.
Did you say it's all over? It was me.
We're going to go into the last song on the show, Stars. Now, this is from the album Woodland Echoes from 2017. How did this song come about?
Even that's a long time ago now.
It is, I know.
Everything before COVID is kind of
I'm so
decades
confused,
ago.
like where we are, what time it is, what place we are. It all blurs into one, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think everybody's just glad that we're here.
Do you know what? Very grateful that we're out of lockdown and we're here, definitely.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys performing and us all being back, so yeah.
Well, in the break, Hayley was telling me about gratitude diaries and stuff.
I
really
was.
good.
Yes, I
Really
won't bore
good.
everyone, but basically I do a gratitude. I will bore everyone. I do a gratitude journey morning and evening, and write 10 things that I'm grateful for, and then 10 things that I wish that would happen, and then I pretend that I'm grateful for it, and it works. Honestly, try it at home. It's a game changer. It really is.
Totally.
I've got a lock
agree.
on my diary though.
Yeah.
Because if people read it, they think I was even more crazy than I think I am.
Well, I started doing those morning pages for creativity where you just write down anything for first thing in the morning, like going for a cold
I
shower
haven't
or
done
something.
that.
And it just gets to going, and you think, I really hope nobody ever finds this, ever. Because they're just going to think...
You're like, is he okay?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah. And he's writing the same things every morning.
Yeah. Then I do my affirmations.
Yeah.
I change them every day.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know if you've found, but if you do the same ones every day all the time, it stagnates.
Yes, you've got to feel it.
Yeah.
You've got to feel it, and then you attract it into your life.
Yeah.
We could have done a whole show on this.
Yeah.
Couldn't we? Part 2.
Yes, I'd be up for that.
How to live your best life in 2023.
Yeah.
We've got the advice for you. Anyway, this has been amazing. Your stories have been iconic. We love the baked bean as well. We love that story.
Okay.
Everything's been great. So thank you so much. We were going to wish you a Merry Christmas because it's coming around so quick. What are you doing for Christmas?
Do you know, I think I'd like to do absolutely nothing.
Good answer.
Just, bask in the kind of Christmas spirit, because I haven't had the Christmas spirit for a while, because, we lived in Tampa for a while.
Oh.
And it was just weird to be...
So it's like a sunshine
Yeah,
Christmas.
it was really hot and
That's
sticky.
lovely though. I'd like that.
So I'm just going to be nice and cold and
It's going to be cold.
cosy.
I plan to eat as much as I can, possibly do. I like to start with chocolate coins for breakfast.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the level I'm going in at.
Okay. Okay.
Watch this space. You'll see pictures of me on Instagram like that.
Chocolate coins for breakfast.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Haircut 100 lyric.
There we go.
Yeah, I like that.
Can use it for your next song if you
See,
want.
we're writing together
Here we go.
already,
We've got a collab going on. Well, thank you so much. You're an absolute legend. Nick Heyward, everyone.
Thank you.
Huge thank you, Nick Heyward. What a guest. And thank you to you at home for supporting the show. It really is much appreciated. Thank you. A huge thank you to the beautiful Wandering Hotel here in Shoreditch. And I will see you same time, same place next week.